The numbers don't lie, and they're absolutely staggering. Under President Trump's leadership, illegal border crossings have plummeted by an astonishing 96%. This isn't a typo. It's not an exaggeration. It's the cold, hard truth that the Biden administration spent years insisting was impossible. Border Czar Tom Homan has transformed what was a complete chaotic mess into an organized, effective system that puts American security first. But make no mistake, activist judges are fighting tooth and nail to sabotage this success. They're issuing rulings from the bench that have nothing to do with law and everything to do with politics. Just yesterday, one judge had the audacity to compare deporting violent gang members to Nazi Germany. These aren't jurists, they're political operatives. So as we fight to secure our borders against illegal intrusion, many Americans are fighting another battle at home, chronic pain and inflammation, breaking through their body's defenses. Like President Trump's border strategy, Dr. Josh's turmeric hack attacks the problem at its source. This powerful extract is 200 times more potent than regular turmeric, acting like a border patrol for your pain, stopping it cold. After helping hundreds of thousands break free from constant aches and stiffness over 20 years, Dr. Josh's approach turns off pain like a switch. No expensive surgeries, no ineffective medications needed. Secure your body's borders against pain at goldenrevive.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Let's jump into this. This is going to make you cheer, folks. The Trump administration just blew the lid off of Biden's fake deportation stats. 44,000 arrests inside America. Real criminals like killers, predators, and traffickers. Biden counted border bounces. Trump's ICE is cleaning up house. Here he is earlier today at a press gaggle at the White House.
Compare the... How you doing? A couple, I'm on my way to a meeting.
Since you came back into the White House, do you use Signal or any other encrypted apps to communicate with administration officials?
I got no comment on that.
Sir, are you concerned that the English language social media posts pushing immigrants to use the CBP Home app aren't reaching a predominantly Spanish language speaking population?
Working on that right now.
What do you mean you're working on it?
You're going to see more Spanish language notices going out.
Okay. At the rate you're going, what do you think your deportation target number is going to be for the year?
I have no idea. It depends what kind of money we have. We need Congress to fund this mandate for the American people, because with more money we can do more. We need to buy more beds, we need more airplane flights, we need more officers on the ground, we need more contracts with companies that can do a lot of work that doesn't require a badge and gun. So the more money we have from Congress, the more successful we'll be on the ground.
What's your estimate on how many people have been self-deported so far?
Actually, hopefully we'll have that number by Friday. We asked for that number yesterday. I'm waiting on it. I looked at the numbers this morning. As far as interior arrests, we're at about 44,000, just shy of 44,000 arrests in the interior, which are by far more than the Biden administration did in the interior. And let me address one thing. I keep reading this. We're deporting less people than Joe Biden. Let's remember, Joe Biden was counting Border Patrol removals on the border, where millions of people are coming across. You can't compare our removal numbers to them. First of all, he was fudging numbers, adding border removals to ICE removals. And second of all, you got millions of people crossing the border, and Border Patrol were bouncing some of them back. We secured the border. We're down border crossing 96%, so we don't have millions of people coming across the border. Just compare our removal numbers to his is just ridiculous. We could remove 100% of our people, and he can remove 10% of his people, and the number's still going to be higher because we're talking about millions of people coming across. The question that people should be asking, how many did the Trump administration release compared to Biden administration? We're at about 0, and they're at millions, so that's the difference. And so I'm reading the story about deportation numbers are lower than Biden's. It's fake news. It's not comparing apples to apples. Compare the interior enforcement arrests, interior enforcement removals to the last administration. There we see the real difference.
Do you expect IRS to begin sharing data on potential, undocumented migrants in this country?
Well, I'll tell you this: illegal aliens use American Social Security numbers. Together with identity theft, we're looking to protect Social Security. We're looking out to protect United States citizens' identity and their benefits with Social Security. I've done this for a long time. Illegal aliens many times use Social Security numbers, U.S. citizens. It causes a lot of problems. Just identity theft. Even my own family. One of my closest relatives had his ID stolen, his Social Security number stolen. So we're going to look out for the American people. We're going to protect Social Security.
But do you expect them to share? Do you expect IRS to share?
I hope so. I think again, to protect American citizens, their Social Security benefits, protect their identity from being stolen. That's one way we can do it.
What would you say to families of some of the individuals deported who say that they do not have affiliations to gangs, to TDA? Are you going to provide more details about?
Look, I'm not aware. I didn't drill into every one of on that plane. We left it up to ICE. The highest officials at ICE have said that they are confident that every one of the events and women's on those planes remember TDA. And everybody's, how do you know? Look, a lot of this stuff is law enforcement sensitive. I'm not going to share a lot of this stuff with you because we certainly don't want to show how we do our inside work, because that's going to just help the criminals out there once they read it. But I can tell you hundreds and hundreds of hours were spent on investigations, whether it's looking at their criminal history, whether it's looking at immigration history, whether looking at undercover videos, whether it's talking to informants, whether it's talking to other members of the gang who gave sworn statements. There's a lot of ways that this was done. A lot of time was spent doing this. Again, and I got assurances from the highest levels of ICE that this was done right, and everybody in that plane, Venezuelans were TDAs. And I got to remember, first of all, let's remember one thing. First of all, everyone on that plane was an illegal alien in the country. Number two, many in that plane were removed with Title VIII. They already had to remove it from an immigration judge. And again, we're talking about terrorists. TDA and MS-13 was on the plane. They've been designated terrorist organizations. These are not good people. They're
not good people. Here we have more President Trump talking about national security. We have an amazing group. Our national security is stronger than it's ever been.
Security now, it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers, and they've all been the same. We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been. We have had a very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only our ships, ships all over the world they're shooting down right out of the water and damaging them badly, or they're going down. They're also shooting anything that happens to be flying in the area. We hit them very, very hard.
Hitting them hard, that's how you do it. Here we have more from the president and from the cabinet meeting. Here's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
We're going to keep everything. We have our technical experts looking at it. We have our legal teams looking at it. And of course, we're going to keep everything as secure as possible. No one in your national security team would ever put anyone in danger. And as you said, and we've repeatedly said, the attack was phenomenal and it's ongoing. But the media wants to talk about everything else except for the hostages you're getting out of the Middle East, Iran on its back foot, sea lanes getting reopened, peace in Europe. As we just saw today with a Black Sea ceasefire, we were just on with Steve Witkoff, myself, our team in Saudi Arabia. They want to talk about all this other stuff except for your amazing successes and the successes of your team.
And let's continue. We have more. I'm not an attorney, Tom Homan says, but I know how to read.
Look, I'm not an attorney, but I know how to read. I know the Alien Enemies Act says, and that's what we did. President Trump, through proclamation, put the Alien Enemy Act in play, and that's a law that was enacted by Congress and signed by a president. He invoked his authorities under the AEA, and what we did was, following the AEA, we removed not only national security threats, terrorists. Everybody in that plane was Trenda Agua or MS-13, which have been designated terrorist organizations. So we removed them. When they talk about due process, I said it this weekend, what due process did Lake and Riley get? Yeah. What due process did all these little girls who got murdered and raped, what due process did they get? What due process of the young lady who was burned alive on a subway? What due process did she get? I mean, bottom line is we follow the statute of the AEA, and we're going to continue to arrest public safety threats. Now, we may be holding on more arrests on the removals on the Alien Enemies Act, but it's not going to stop us to keep arresting TDA members, taking them off the street. And we're going to continue doing that. We're going to
Let's keep going. Oh, yeah. Round them all up. We're going to keep arresting TDA members. That's what he said on Fox Business. Ilhan Omar says it's silly that she's facing criticism for instructing criminal immigrants on how to evade.
You know, Elon and I.
Is that valid criticism to not be telling people how to avoid immigration authorities?
It is nonsense. It's silly. And, you know, Elon and I both are immigrants in this country, and it looks like one of us has bothered to learn the laws of the land. It is completely within the constitutional rights of people to have rights regardless of what their status is. We have due process. We have checks and balances.
Is that valid criticism to...
We have checks and balances. Okay. Here we have more on President Tom Homan saying we are keeping the president's promises.
Working on it. But look, we're keeping President Trump's promise. President Trump has promised we're going to secure the border, which we've done to a large extent. We're still working on it. But we're at 96% decline on the border. And he promised we're going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats, illegal aliens in this country. And that's what we're doing. Look,
and that is what we are doing. Holy cow, there is so much going on. Wow. Here is FBI Director Kash Patel highlighting the success of the FBI going after crime.
Security. The priorities at the FBI, which I identified during my confirmation hearing and since, is attacking violent crime along with national security. And every single state in this country is a border state. Arkansas is no exception. Allow me to highlight the work of the men and women in the FBI and state and local law enforcement in the state of Arkansas. Since February 5th alone, we've had 220 illegal immigrants arrested on charges varying from violent offenses, weapons offenses, narcotics offenses, and serious violent felonies. 253 separate individuals have been charged related to those offenses. And here's something I want the American people to hear about narcotics and countering narcotics. Thousands of pounds of narcotics were seized in these 3 weeks in the state of Arkansas. Thousands, worth tens of millions of dollars. Everything from fentanyl to meth to cocaine to heroin to marijuana and more. And also including manufactured drugs. The FBI does have the biggest footprint in Arkansas, but we could not achieve this mission without our state and local law enforcement partners, which has been one of the priorities since I took the helm at the FBI. They provide the greatest ground level intelligence to conduct these operations in Arkansas and in every single state across the union. Since February 5th, we've assisted with the arrest of hundreds of criminals and illegals throughout your state, and that was just a 3-week operation. Prior to that, Senator, there was a bust of 17 federal indictments relating to a meth lab in the state of Arkansas in the southwest corner of your state. All of those individuals are now facing prosecution for hundreds of pounds of illegal opioids, guns, and other illicit material. So we will continue to do that work. We will work it 6-7 days a week, 365 days a year, not just in your state, Mr. Chairman, but in every state.
So despite constant obstruction from activist judges, the Trump administration has achieved something remarkable. The most secure border in modern American history. FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed they've arrested 220 illegal immigrants on various charges. Tren de Aragua MS-13 members are being deported. Americans are finally being prioritized for public housing instead of illegal aliens. The Ninth Circuit's ruling upholding Trump's pause on refugee admissions represents a critical legal victory for sovereignty. So here's the ultimate question. If Trump secured the border this effectively in just 65 days, why did previous administrations claim for decades that it couldn't be done? Support strong borders with our Next News gear available in the merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.